sees the memes of production, and the like and subscribe button. How a cultish crew of radical vegans became linked to killings across the United States. What is this? Is this important in any meaningful way, or is it just like a human interest story?
And tragedy. Northern California, a radical vegan group.
Of course it's Northern California. It's always up there. Vaush controlled substances are regulated by the DEA, not the HHS. Yeah, but their scheduling isn't the only thing that matters. What also matters is the guidelines for prescription and what their like recommended use is. And that is controlled by the HHS. Can't he revoke approval? Yes, they can do whatever they want. Also, they control the DEA anyway. Yeah, the FDA controls the scheduling, the DEA just enforces, right? It doesn't matter, they control all of it.
Group known as the Zizzians emerged, linked to 6 mysterious deaths. Their story intertwines with a complex web of ideology and tragedy. In 2019, 4 masked protesters disrupted a retreat of the Center for Applied Rationality, accusing it of various wrongdoings. The protest, led by Ziz, ended with police intervention and allegations of mistreatment. Ziz, a vegan computer scientist, developed a unique philosophy blending rationalism
Glorps in chat if you remember the real Ziz.
and anarchism. According to Ziz, a vegan computer scientist, developed a unique philosophy blending rationalism and anarchism. According to her blog, Ziz failed to secure a steady job and a place to live, all while transitioning to female and facing prejudice for it. Her beliefs, centered on animal rights and anti-establishment ideals, attracted a following of young, ideologically driven individuals. Tensions escalated in Vallejo, California, where Ziz's group clashed with landlord Curtis Lind. A violent confrontation left Lind and a tenant injured and another tenant dead, leading to charges against group members. As the group scattered, further violence unfolded, including a deadly shootout in Vermont. The enigmatic Ziz remains elusive, her influence casting a long shadow over a series of tragic events.
Cool. Who is the Ziz? Didn't you hear the enigmatic Ziz? You don't know. It's always Silicon Valley, isn't it? Completed an internship at NASA. Like many tech workers, she'd been drawn to the rationalist subculture and the closely intertwined effective altruist movement. Okay, so psychopath. I mean, obviously we already knew that based on the whole like cult. Listen, okay? If you're getting a bad read off someone, I'd rather someone be a cultist murderer than an effective altruist, okay? Christ, that shit's crazy. She shared some rationalist belief that AI would soon attain godlike power and destroy humanity if not... Yeah, they're all the same people. It's all of these Silicon Valley schizo freaks who treat AI like it's some kind of god. They're anti-sociological. They literally like don't believe in society. And all of their belief systems like round back to how do I like most rapidly accumulate power and influence for myself at the expense of others, while also feeling like doing so is like the mandate of humanity. Like you're not just doing it for selfish reasons, you're actually like fulfilling a preordained, you know, scripture of your ascension that is to the benefit of all. You know, it's just psycho shit. There's so many people in Silicon Valley that are like this. Even so, she found friends among the rationalists. One of them was Gwen Danielson, another trans woman who developed a psychological theory that every person has multiple personalities within themselves, as well as techniques meant to awaken these personalities. We just need to arrest everyone in Silicon Valley. All of these people are mentally ill. Look at how she parts her hair, psycho. You're calling people out in chat who probably don't want to be called out, but I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Liz and Danielson embarked on a plan to build a rationalist fleet of rehabilitated old boats that could offer cheap housing to talented young compatriots, freeing them to devote their energies to saving the world. Classic culture. Classic, classic, classic. Oh, hold on. We have a guest. 1 second. Capella. She active? She rowdy? When is your belly fur gonna grow back? Wow. You're so wiggly. You're so wiggly. Leg. Hello, hello. I love her socks. Yeah, she's got really cute little feet socks. She wants to run around. Be free. There she goes. Off on an adventure. All right, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Let me see. They bought a nearly century-old tugboat named the Caleb in Alaska and sailed it down to the coast of the Bay Area. Okay. Forged links to a think tank. Danielson presented some of her psychological techniques at the 2017 CFAR alumni retreat. Meanwhile, on her blog, Ziz was developing her own branch of EA and rationalist philosophy, strange, dense, and full of unusual jargon, such as anti-ethics, dichotomy leakage, and timeless gambits. You know, part of being a public figure is that every once in a while people will email me something that is essentially a manifesto, and it's always something along the lines of, Vaush, I think I have solved society. I think I have solved politics. Sometimes they're even like, I have developed a new grand unification theory of everything in like physics or whatever. Here is my massive document. Now I need you to bring this to the world. You know, you have the platform, I have the genius. It's time for you to basically, like, this is your purpose now, is to like present this. And to the extent that I read these manifestos, which I largely don't, they are full of shit like this. Because everybody has, like, especially schizos, have a vague idea of what a, like, genius theorician sounds like. But because they're not one themselves, they only imitate the cultural understanding of what one is supposed to sound like, where you are constantly making up new terms and imposing jargon and trying to like force people to follow you down your like weird thought path rather than like building the argument up from the ground. Dark Souls NPC language, to a large extent, yes. See this shit all the time. You don't mean actual schizophrenic? I mean, they might be actual schizophrenics. Like, you know, it's happened at least half a dozen times in the 5 years that I've been doing this. Given all these absolutely insane beliefs, the inclusion of just vegan in the article title is meant to farm outrage. I agree. Like, it seems like the driving philosophy here that's leading to this cult is the like rationalist Silicon Valley shit. So like being trans, being vegan, these seem, at least at this point in the story, incidental. They don't seem to be like the driving you know. Ultimately, her creed was anarchist and vegan. You can't be anarchist while also being a effective altruist, okay? Come on. This isn't real whatever. People have been misusing the term for so long. She felt that she lived in a society of flesh-eating monsters, the most rationalist, drastically undervalued non-human life. Any future super AI she believed must benefit animals too. That's great. The deck of the Caleb. Holy shit. They slapped solar panels on this 100-year-old tugboat. Sure, I mean, whatever. Kind of goes hard. There's an aesthetic here. Solar panels love to be walked on. That's my understanding too of solar panel. Falls apart. Protested at CIFA. Things are going great, I assume. A deadly confrontation at a California trailer yard. Is this the 80-year-old landlord? This guy looks amazing for 80. They were unhappy with living on the tug. They decided they wanted to move to my yard and buy moving vans. They could live in the moving van. Nobody would know they're in there. He described himself as pretty friendly with some of them, friendly enough that I took one of them to Walmart to buy her first bra. Okay. Yeah, this seems like, culture. Seems pretty, like, you know, par for the course, I guess. In August 2022, Ziz faked her death. Oh, man. On the day, Lind alleged one of the tenants tricked him into bending down to turn off the water supply and then attacked him without provocation, driving a samurai sword into his chest. At that time, I pulled out my pistol and started I would also do that if somebody stabbed me with a katana, I think. Sorry, the reason I'm not reading this is because this is getting a little bit more granular. Why does America churn out endless cults? A sick society with a lot of empty space in between the cities. And yeah, and no mental health care. Exactly. Huh. Well, sorry, I guess I don't have a strong conclusion to that. I was mostly reading it out of like my own personal interest in the subject. Because it's pretty wild. I don't really have like a cap off to that. It's not really a segment. I'm just reading it. Can we discuss why the Australians plus Fox are celebrating 1.9 billion in Doge findings? That seems a little bit misleading. When you say Australians, do you mean Sky News Australia? I.e. the news company that is owned by Rupert Murdoch, the same person who owns Fox News? That doesn't really seem like you can pin that one on Australia. That seems like, you know, pretty much just Rupert Murdoch kind of deal. Am I reading this wrong, or is this a federal bill aiming at the elimination of trans healthcare? There's no info, just the title text. To amend Title 18 U.S. Code to provide for certain rules for housing or transportation based on gender, and to provide for a limitation on gender-related medical treatment. From, wow, Nancy Mace. I don't really know. I'm just kind of looking at the title. Nancy Mace, HR 1015. I don't think there is any info on this. Do you think she just like drunkenly typed this up and then forgot to add any body text or whatever? Like, she didn't want to put the effort in to write a few sentences for the actual, like, literally, all this has just been referred to the House committee. Like, this is nothing, you know? Drunk, crying, typing this up, or dictating it to an intern who typed it up. What are the odds this passes? I don't know.